Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a Planet Fitness gym in Minecraft, including the interior, step by step, block for block, for all of your city building needs. Fun fact, I'm hidden somewhere in the intro of this video. If you spot me, leave a comment down below. The first person leaving a comment getting it right will have their comment pinned. This is the amount of space required to make the gym. I would highly recommend recreating this grid in your world. To find the starting position, begin at the front left hand corner of the grid, count backwards, find the 5th block, and then count to the right and find the 3rd block. That is where we start. And here are all of the materials that we will use throughout the build. Please do make sure that you have access to all of these. Begin the build by placing a sandstone wall on the ground, and then a brick to the right. Extend back 1, and then right by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Place a white concrete, then a brick, and then 2 black stained glass pane. 1, 2. Then a polished black stone wall, black stained glass pane, leave a gap, place a wall, place 2 glass pane, and then a brick, white concrete, 8 bricks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then extend forwards, place a sandstone wall to the right, then place 37 bricks extending out of the back of the sandstone wall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. Then, extend all the way across the back of the build using your bricks. We are trying to line up with the sandstone wall that we placed at the beginning, and I do believe that we've done it. Once you have lined up, simply extend forwards and connect all the way to the front of the build, and that is perfect. Next, we are going to make the entire front of our Planet Fitness. To begin, we will place an additional 6 sandstone wall on top of our sandstone wall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We will also extend the bricks that surround it up to equal the same height. Then, we will turn our attention to this white concrete. We also want to extend this up to equal the height of the rest of the rows. We also want to extend the bricks left and right of it all the way up as well. And we will extend the bricks 1 row forwards, just like this. Then we will place 2 rows of black stained glass pane on top of this row of bricks here. 1, and then 2. Then a row of smooth sandstone on top of the glass. 2 more rows of glass on top of the smooth sandstone. And then a row of white concrete on top of the glass to give us this. We will now repeat this onto the opposite side. So we will begin by extending our wall up by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The surrounding bricks as well. Then we will do the same with the white concrete over here, and the bricks left and right of it, which we will also extend 1 row forwards. Perfect. And then 2 rows of black stained glass pane on top of this row of bricks, with a row of smooth sandstone directly on top. And then 2 rows of glass on top of the sandstone. And then finally a row of white concrete on top of the glass. Just like this. Next, the actual main entrance. First, we will extend these polished blackstone wall up by 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. We will fill the gaps in on the left and right with black stained glass pane. We will also extend this glass pane up, just like so. Then a row of smooth sandstone across the top of this. We want to divide this area up by leaving gaps of 2 and then placing vertical rows of smooth sandstone like this. You can see that they coincide with the door down below. We will then fill these window spaces in using black stained glass pane in between all of these gaps, just like this. Then things get a bit more complicated as we have to add some black concrete here in front of the smooth stone, or smooth sandstone, and then we will place a row of black concrete in front of this and extend it left and right by 1. We then will add another row in front of this, and then we will shrink this just 1 row left and right like so. Then we want to place a brick row here. So basically how this works is we leave a gap of 2 from in front of this glass pane like this, and a gap of 2, 1, 2 in front of this glass pane, and then we connect a row of bricks up to the black concrete, just like so. Before I forget completely, let's place an iron bar here to act as a door handle. Next, we will place a row of smooth quartz block along the top of our walls. So this is basically on top of the, well, all of the solid blocks that we have placed at the top of the wall. I mean, that's really the easiest way to describe it. It will look a little bit weird. So it will look like this, which looks strange, but this is actually how it's meant to look. Next, we are going to place a row of smooth sandstone that starts here, extends all the way over to the right, and ends here. We also want to raise it up to be 6 rows high, so that's another 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we will extend this across. So now that we have placed all of those rows of smooth sandstone, we are going to add a little bit of smooth quartz stairs in certain places. So mainly around where the smooth quartz kind of bulges. So there, for instance, and like around here, like at the top of the pillars might be a bit better way to describe it. So around here, just like this. And around here, just like that. Then we are going to place smooth quartz slabs in between all of these stairs, which will give us this, which looks rather fancy in my opinion. Next, we will place some magenta concrete. So we start right here, and this just coincides with this pillar. We place 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of magenta concrete that extend over to the opposite pillar. So we just want to have something which should look like this, which is perfect. That looks absolutely fantastic. I think that at this point in time, we can quite safely move on to the rest of the walls. So the rest of the walls are really, really simple. I'm going to extend the smooth quartz block at the top of the wall backwards and line up roughly with the back corner of the build. And I'm going to extend a row of bricks down here and then extend all the way across the back of the build. And we can join down with the bricks. And once again, we can kind of do a similar thing here, extending all the way to the front of the build. And there we go. So, step 1, I'm just going to fill these sides in with bricks. So, the left and right side. So unfortunately, we don't have much leeway with what we can do with the left and right walls, but we do with this back wall. I've actually just been doing a little bit of experimentation, and this is what I have came up with. So step 1, let's add an extra row of bricks right here in the corner. And we can remove this corner row and place sandstone wall there instead. We'll do the exact same thing on this opposite side. So add an extra row here and then replace this row with sandstone wall. I also want to add the same white concrete rows that we have on the front of the build onto the back. So we're placing them in the exact same position. So just line up with the front, I think it's this row, line up with the front of the build and just place them like that. Then we will add bricks left and right of these, and we will extend the bricks one row outwards. So we'll do this on both sides, just like this. That is absolutely perfect. Now, I did consider doing this, but unfortunately, this does kind of like ruin the outer floor plan, but if it doesn't matter, I was considering extending the sandstone wall forwards a row. It kind of disrupts the path ever so slightly, and then extending the bricks forwards as well, so this is all kind of in line. And what this will do is, you'll see in a second, so we extend the bricks, the sandstone, and then we just replace this forwards. So if you don't so mind that we kind of like disrupt the podzol that kind of like borders the entire build, then this is perfect, as what we can now do is place smooth quartz across the top of these pillars that we've created, the exact same way as we have on the front. And then we can extend the upside down smooth quartz stairs all the way around the top of the building, and we can kind of like navigate around these pillars. So we accentuate the top of these. Accentuate. Is accentuate a word? Who even knows? But we will extend the smooth quartz around at the top of the pillars, and we will place it all the way along the top of this left wall, just extending front to back, just like this. And then, just as with the front, we will place smooth quartz slab just at the top here, and I think that will look pretty good. And beyond that, I think that we add a layer of white concrete underneath the top. And I was even considering making the entire center portion smooth sandstone. Should we try that? Maybe we should. So on these sides, we can't have windows here, straight up. We just can't have them. But we can instead place 2 rows of bricks, a row of smooth sandstone, and then 2 more rows of bricks. So it kind of emulates the front a little bit. We just don't have the windows. And I think it does look nice, even though, you know, windows might look nicer. But again, we just straight up, we don't have the room for them. There's too much stuff on the inside that would disrupt them. So that looks pretty good. And then last but not least, what if we do just fill the very center of this in with smooth sandstone? I don't know how that material just changed. Smooth sandstone. And I think that looks pretty good. It might look better if the smooth sandstone goes all the way down to the base. I think that might look a little bit more improved, but that's looking pretty clean if you ask me. And then we are just going to fill the very top of the building, the roof, in with a block of iron, which is actually going to take quite some time. Actually, it's kind of a massive building now that I look at it. Well, that certainly took a while. Next up, a bit of landscaping. So, to begin, we will remove all of these blocks coinciding with the entrance area. So, from this glass to this glass, remove all of these grass blocks and the grid and whatever else might be here, and replace all of this with smooth stone. Perfect. Then remove 2 entire rows of grid from the front of the build and replace those rows with, once again, smooth stone. We will then remove the outer row of the grid, and we will once again just replace this with smooth stone as well. So we're essentially just creating a path that orbits the entire gym. And when I was talking earlier about if you don't mind the path being obstructed a little bit, this is what I'm talking about. So these rows of bricks aren't really meant to be here exactly. We have just added these in willy-nilly. But, I mean, it is a bit of an upgrade, if you ask me. So from here, we are then meant to remove all of the remaining grass that surrounds the gym, so just all the way around. And we're just meant to have a couple of rows of it at the back here, but that's okay. Or just one entire unobstructed row, I should say. There is nothing stopping us from just extending the path itself, but I do like to try and stick to the grid, and we are of course just replacing all of this with podzol. Yeah, typically if I set dimensions for the grid, then I don't usually like to go out of those bounds, unless I just absolutely cannot help myself. Perfect. So now that we've placed all of that podzol, we are, as randomly as possible, which isn't usually that random for me, we are going to place a mixture of short grass, ferns, bushes, firefly bushes, and tall grass. And there is actually also something that we're missing as well, which is leaf litter. And I just like to place this in amongst all of that as well. So I'm just going to place all of this kind of, again, I'm kind of trying to be a little bit random with it, but it is kind of hard sometimes not to fall into a pattern. And I'm missing an azalea, I guess, back here. And I'm just going to do this, just spreading all the way around the build. Don't have to be too crazy with getting like an even spread or what have you. Like, as long as you are happy with the end result of this, then that is all that matters. And now I'm just going to add a little bit of leaf litter. No, my grass! Leaf litter is too strong. Have I added it? Yeah, I have added it on this side. It's kind of hard to tell on the potter, but it does make a small difference in my opinion. There we go. And that is looking fantastic. The final detail that we must add to the outside of the build is the sign. Thread on loom, open it up, place a white banner in there with some black dye. We are just writing out the words Planet Fitness in letters. So letter number 1 is P. This is the Pale Dexter pattern. Put white dye in there. Apply the Perfess inverted pattern. Black dye back in. Fess. Then Pale Dexter. And then Chief. That's P. Next is L. This is Pale Dexter, followed by the base pattern. Next is A. This is Pale Dexter, Pale Sinister, Chief, and then Fess. Next is N. This is Pale Dexter, Pale Sinister, Bend. Next is E. This is Pale Dexter, chief, fess, and base. Next is T. This is chief, and then pale. Next is F. This is pale dexter, chief, and then fess. Next is I. This is simply the pale pattern. Then we must make S. That's actually our final letter. So chief, base, and bent. We can now take each one of our letters and apply them to our sign. Starting here. P, L, A, N, E, T. And then underneath the L, F, I, T, N, E, S, S. And there you go. Planet Fitness. With that final detail added to the outside of the build, we are now able to head inside and work on the interior. First of all, we actually have to line the inside of the walls with a mixture of cyan terracotta and white concrete. So we'll start off by placing cyan terracotta all the way along the base of the walls. So we only have to do this on the left, back, and right sides. So there's a row of cyan terracotta at the base, and then all the way around the top as well. And then in between is, of course, the white concrete. There we go, that has made such a huge difference already. So next we are going to grab our magenta concrete, and left of this white concrete here we will place 5 magenta. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Leave a gap of 1, and then place a row of 5 cyan terracotta. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dig a block in the ground to the left, replace it with a block of iron, stick an iron door on there, and then place 3 more cyan terracotta. 1, 2, 3. And then, once again, remove the grass, iron door. Then we will place 5 more cyan terracotta. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can then extend the cyan terracotta to this wall. We can also divide this area up, so just in between the doors, we extend the cyan terracotta backwards. We do the same here as well. And then we will extend white concrete up on top of our cyan terracotta. So originally I didn't place cyan terracotta at the top of these walls that I am now making, but as I'm making the build now, I'm wondering if I should. I don't know whether it will look better or not, because there's stuff on this wall that may interfere with it. We can always change it back later, but my intuition is telling me that I should change it, so we will. Perfect. So these two rooms are basically just changing rooms, and then this area to the right is the reception. So we place a row of magenta terracotta just across the top here, and you can see that this coincides with this smooth sandstone. And we're just going to raise up the magenta concrete all the way up to the ceiling, just like so. I did consider extending it one row forwards as well, just to create just a little bit of interest, just so that it stands out a little bit. So I think that I'm going to keep it. We'll see. We do also have the option of dragging it back too, so we can extend the base of this all the way back, and it creates a bit more of a cozy area underneath here. So underneath here, first of all, we have to remove these two rows along this back wall and replace these with pale oak shelf. We can extend this cyan terracotta and these two white concretes forwards and remove these blocks at the base and replace them with block of iron. And I'm going to stock... so this is a fridge for drinks. I'm going to stock the entire fridge with just these two potions, but do feel free to use more. And then we can just add some glass pane to the front of this. You can leave it open or closed, it doesn't really matter. And then a door handle here to pull the fridge. We could also just add a block of iron into the top of the fridge like this, maybe up to here, if that would look better perhaps. It might even look nicer to have some cyan terracotta just at the edge. I think that that looks a little bit cleaner. And we can also add some cyan terracotta across the back here, and a couple of rows of shelves, and stock these shelves with different kinds of sportswear. So just like this. Going to build some candles up here to look like either water bottles or drinks or just something inconspicuous really. And then we will place a grey bundle in this item frame and then a black bundle here. And we'll place an armor stand here and here. Stick some item clothing in the armor stands. I like the netherite, it just looks like some sort of sportswear. Some very hardcore sportswear, but sportswear nonetheless. On this wall here, I'm just going to stick a couple of paintings. I'm looking for some 2x2s, and you know what? Those will do just fine. I'm not being too fussy with these. And then for here, I'm realizing we should have replaced these blocks underneath here. It's okay. We'll just do that later. And then for this space here, we are going to place a polished blackstone stairs, leave a gap of 2, stair, some 1x1s on here. We'll stick an item frame here, and then we can simply place a flower pot here, end rod here, and here, heavy weighted pressure plates on them. And then I just realized I actually didn't stock this area up, so I'm just using different colors of candles. Not that one. And just to fill in these shelves, because once again, these are just inconspicuous. They can be water bottles, they can be drinks, they can be whatever. And if we take a look from the outside, it's a fairly nice detailed reception. I'm pretty happy with this. With the reception complete, we can now work on this area. So first of all, we'll leave a gap of 1 from the edge and place 1, 2 red concrete right here. Extend the right concrete up by 2. Remove these 2 blocks and place bookshelves in there instead. Glass in front, and then black carpet across the top. Stone buttons here, and a pale oak sign here. We then want to do the exact same thing all the way over on this side, but with blue concrete. So we'll place 1, 2 here. We will then extend the right side up 2. Remove these 2 blocks. Place bookshelves instead. Glass in front. Black carpet on top. Stone buttons here. Pale oak sign here. We then need a stone button here and here besides the door. So we then want a painting in between the doors. I actually quite like that one. Then crimson signs above the doors. So basically these 2 changing rooms are just for men and women, and you can assign whichever you like on either the left or right side. So I'll have men on the right and I'll have women on the left, because why not? Doesn't really make a difference. So then on the wall above this is where the cyan terracotta gets a little... I'm not sure whether it'll work out, because I actually want to have rather large paintings on the wall here. So I want some of these. And I don't know whether the cyan terracotta will make it look a little bit weird. So previously, we of course just had white concrete all the way up to the ceiling. That one will do. And it left the wall kind of like nice and open, and the paintings kind of slotted in nicely. But now I'm not really so sure. Like, would it look better with white? Would it look better with cyan? Now, a way around this completely may actually be to place black concrete and then the paintings on there instead. I would prefer not these types. I like the more colourful. Yeah, exactly. So I do think that might be a way around it. I think that looks pretty good, actually. I think we can now head inside the changing rooms. We will start on the right side first. So in here, we will place a cyan terracotta in this corner and this corner, so on the right side specifically. And then we will split this area by leaving a gap of 2 and placing another cyan terracotta. We will then place 2 smooth quartz block on top of these cyan with a smooth quartz slab on top of that. And then we will extend each one of these blocks forwards, just like so. Then at the base of these areas, we will place looms that face each other to look like drainage. And then we can either replace the whole... I'm actually considering just replacing the whole floor with dark prismarine. Initially, I was just going to place some dark prismarine for the base of the shower, and then a block of iron for the floor. This might look a little bit better, actually, so maybe we'll stick with the original plan. I actually do like that. And then in each shower, stone buttons just like this, iron trapdoors, and then we actually have to drop the ceiling in here too. So the ceiling, shall we actually make it a bit darker in here, or shall we use the block of iron? Because the ceiling, or rather the entire everywhere pretty much is just really, really light. So maybe we will have the ceiling dark. And then in the middle of the floor, or just like opposite these showers, we will have just rows of 2 polished tough slab like this. We will have some cyan terracotta across this back wall, and then on top of this we will have alternating light grey and dark grey shulker boxes. So, you know what? It might, maybe we'll have this. Maybe we'll have them like this. So, like the base will be this part of the shulker box, and the upper part will be that. And that, I think, is looking pretty good. Like, if you wanted to add some shower curtains, you could, but I'm going to leave these showers open. We also need a button to operate the door, and once you've done that on the right one, maybe we'll have the... No, I don't like that. I like it on the right side for some reason, I don't know why. But once you've done that changing room, we will do the exact same thing over here. So once again, we'll start on this side, and we'll place a cyan terracotta in the corners, and then one in the middle. So once again, like wherever the bookshelves are is where we're starting pretty much. And on top of each cyan terracotta, we will stack 2 smooth quartz and then 1 smooth quartz slab, just like so. We will then extend each one of these blocks 1 row forwards. We'll remove all of the blocks. You know what? Why don't we just remove all of the blocks in the entire floor rather than just doing it in bits and pieces? I'll make the outer part of the floor first, using the block of iron, just like so. And I'll also add the row of cyan terracotta along this wall. And why don't we just add the lockers, because we have all of the materials. So once again, the base of the lockers are going to be these, and then the top of the lockers will be those. Inside each shower, we need a button, of course, which it's throwing me off because the floor's not in here, but they go here and here. And then let's grab the looms, which go at the back, dark prismarine in between, just like this. And then iron trapdoor here and here, and we will have 2 end rods on top. And then cyan terracotta for the ceiling, which will just be directly above the end rods. That's absolutely perfect. And then last but not least, let's add the little benches here. So polished tough slabs opposed to the showers. And we also need a button so that we can escape here. Those are the changing rooms. And Now that we have completed the changing rooms, let's head all the way over to this area hidden in the back that I have designated the boxing cardio area. So, to begin, we come all the way up to the white concrete in the top of this wall. We extend right, 1, 2, drop down 1, and place a smooth quartz stair. Leave a gap of 3, 1, 2, 3, smooth quartz stair. Gap of 3, 1, 2, 3, smooth quartz stair. Then iron trapdoors in front of these, iron chain underneath, red shulker boxes extending down from the chains, and those are punching bags. That is perfect. So you can stack them a different way as well if you like. So you can, they look better this way from the front at the very least. You may very well also like them this way. You may like a combination of the two. It doesn't really matter. My personal preference is that. But of course, no matter what, if you're using shulker boxes, then you're going to... It's going to look a little bit weird. So, now that you've done that, I'm actually just going to remove this portion of the floor, okay? So, from here to here, and I'm going to dig around the edge of this so that we can see precisely what this area is comprised of. So we're going to replace all of that. How did that happen? We're going to replace all of that with grey wool. And then we are going to remove the center. And replace it with blue concrete. That looks fantastic. So on the sides here, I also added some benches. So basically 2 spruce trapdoors right in the middle of this mat with spruce trapdoors flipped down, and some magenta concrete on top, just to keep with kind of like the Planet Fitness branding, which I keep trying to do wherever possible. So that's looking good. And it did occur to me that this area looks a little bit sparse. So if you wanted to, you could add like another set of bags like dangling down from the ceiling. But we would have to kind of like place them in between the pre-existing ones. And this area doesn't really have a middle on like the side. So like this doesn't have like a middle. So it would look a little bit weird just to have these kind of like suspended. It almost looks a little bit too busy, and this almost looks a little bit too empty. So what if we just add a couple of armor stands here, maybe just in front of the bags, and by couple I mean I guess just all of them like this, and we can just add a bunch of guys just working on the heavy bags. So you can equip them with whatever. I might even change this like towards the end of the video, like give them different workout equipment, but I just don't want to like carry like loads and loads of different things. So I'm thinking item frames with maybe like just helmets kind of like on the floor. Maybe they do a bit of sparring. Maybe we have some drinks kind of like just dotted around to the side. Maybe like, you know, in the form of bottles and what have you. And I think that that does a pretty good job of livening this up a little bit. I did also consider doing some paintings as well. So for instance, like a 1x2 above here, and maybe even like a 1x2 above here as well. And there's, of course, some rooms for some 1x2s or 2x1s, whatever, just in between. And I think that that definitely looks a lot livelier. I'm pretty happy with that, actually. Now, before we move on to the rest of the gym, I would actually like to remove a couple of rows of grass just along the side here. So, extending all the way from the back of the build all the way to the front, just like so. And I've just realized something else that I should have done as well. So, I'm going to replace all of this with cyan terracotta, so we can literally like walk straight through the gym. I'm also wondering what's on the opposite side of that wall, if we can make a back entrance to the gym too, and whether we should replace the inside of the reception area now, because I actually have the netherite armor and some armor stands on me too. So I'm just going to remove all of this grass, and there we go. So I'll come back to this, but this actually wants to curve around to the entrance, just like this. So maybe all the way up to the glass, and I'll stick one in the corner. And also we have to destroy underneath the entrance too. There we go. So just like that. And then we need a bit of black concrete just underneath the glass and the wall. And then in here, we are just going to use some grey carpet. So let's do exactly that. Let's just replace those. There we go. That is a lot better. So now you can see that we have a pathway just kind of like leading all the way around the gym, which leaves this massive open area to fill in now. The first piece of equipment that we will add to this area is a set of exercise bikes. To make these is a little bit tricky, but they are positioned, leaving a gap of 1 from this corner, here, leave a gap, here, leave a gap, here. So I've placed the grindstones like this. However, we actually want them to be placed in the opposite fashion. So we want grindstones placed like so. And we also have to have another set of grindstones, leaving a gap of 1 placed here as well. So let's just take a little look. That is fantastic. So we can now remove these blocks and we can place polished black stone slabs on the back grindstones. That was unnecessarily difficult. We can place dark oak fence in between the front and back pair of grindstones as well, with magenta carpet on top of the fence gates. So dark oak fence gates in between, magenta carpet on top, and we do also want some dark oak fence gates above the front pair of grindstones too. And then ultimately we will just replace underneath all of these. So I'm just going to excavate all of the grass from around these, and we'll just do the floor a little bit later on. But that is the first piece of equipment that we will add. Next, leaving a gap of 2 along this back wall, so 1, 2. We will then place 1, 2, 3 polished black stone blocks. We will leave a gap of 1 and then 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Gap of 1, 1, 2, 3. So 3 of these in total. We will stack these 2 rows high. We will then extend the bottom row forwards. Place stone brick stairs in front of and on top of those central black stone blocks. Then polished tuff wall along the sides of the stone brick stairs. And I don't think I've mentioned what these are yet. These are stairmasters or stair climbing machines. And at the top here we will have 2 black concretes just against the wall, just extending up, with polished, or rather, just regular stone pressure plates. I was considering polished black stone pressure plates, but I do actually prefer the stone pressure plates myself. And these machines actually need a screen, so throw down a limb, open it up, light blue banner in there with some white dye, and apply a gradient effect. Throw grey dye in there, and apply the perfast inverted pattern. Then black dye in there, and apply the board draw pattern. And we can just stick these at the tops of each one of the 3 machines. Next, we will make some treadmills. The way that we position these is by leaving a gap of 3 from these stone brick stairs. 1, 2, 3. And then we place a smooth quartz block. And we do this for each one of the 3 sets of stairs. We can then place 2 deep slate tile slabs in front of these. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then we actually want to do the same thing again. We want to leave a gap of 2 from the slab, so 1, 2, and then we want to place the same set of blocks. So we will have 6 of these in total, just like this. On top of every smooth quartz block, we will have a smooth quartz stair. And then we will have paintings in front of each one of these stair blocks like this. And then we need to place some redstone torches dug 2 rows down either side of the length of the treadmill, so like this, and we could actually do with the floor material. So the floor material in here is grey wool, and we dig the torches 2 rows down, so the grey wool just sits directly above them, and then we place iron trapdoors on top, and that's what a treadmill looks like pretty much. So again, just 2 rows down. I think that I'm going to do this all in one go, so I'll do all of the digging, all of the torches, all of the floor, and then all of the trapdoors just one after another. So now the torches. And then the wool. And you may be asking yourself, like, why not just replace the whole floor with wool now? And the reason for that is because the whole floor isn't wool, unfortunately, otherwise I would have done that. So that's all the wool, and now we can just place all of the trapdoors. And there we go. That is... I don't know why I find this so satisfying, just like all of them stacked together. Last but not least, we have to make a couple of rowing machines. So the first one I will place behind this exercise bike. We'll leave a gap of 2, 1, 2, and then place a grindstone. Then 2 andesite wall, and then a polished blackstone wall. We then place a dark oak shelf in this position, with a wither skeleton skull in front of this. We just have to forget the fact that it's a skull. And then an end rod either side of the skull. Then we can place some dark oak signs along the sides of the polished andesite. And then the choice is yours, either a magenta carpet on top of the center block or a polished blackstone pressure plate. Now I'm going to go with magenta just to kind of keep with the theme. And which sign did I accidentally write in? Maybe it didn't save. Okay, well, that is what the rowing machine looks like, except for the fact that the it's easy. The grindstone faces this way. And we want to make another one of these. If we just leave a gap of 3 from this wall, so 1, 2, 3, and then place a polished blackstone wall, 2 andesite wall in front, and then attach the grindstone, stick some dark oak signs along the sides of the wall, just like this, and then a dark oak shelf here, skeleton skull here, and then end rods either side. And then lastly, we will just stick our magenta carpet. That looks pretty good. Now, I did consider making one here as well, but I don't know if it is a little bit too much. Let's take a look, because they don't take very long to make whatsoever, do they? So let's stick this here. I think we'll find out pretty quickly. I just kind of liked the symmetry that we had. That's the only reason that I didn't add it initially, but now I'm thinking about it, it just looks a little bit busier. I don't know, it doesn't look out of place, but I think it does look we'll see. We'll leave it there for now. Now, before we make any more equipment, I would like to add some screens on the wall in front of these exercise bikes, just some 1x1 paintings will do. Maybe some TVs on the wall as well, so maybe like one above here and one above here, so some larger screens. You could even make it bigger if you like, it doesn't really matter. I like the idea of maybe having some here as well, so maybe like one here. No, maybe a would a 1x1 look silly? Like here and here? I don't think so. I think that looks pretty okay. So now that we've done that, we can focus on this last little area. The first bit of strength training equipment we will make is a lat pull down machine. We position this by coming all the way to this Stairmaster, leave a gap of 2, 1, 2, and place 1, 2 polished blackstone wall with magenta carpet on top. Leave a gap of 1 and then place an anvil in this position. Place a row of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, polished blackstone wall to the left and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right. Join together at the top and then place 1, 2 chains on top of the anvil and then a grindstone positioned this way, or this way actually, makes more sense, just like so. We then want to place 2 more, 1, 2 polished blackstone wall above here, iron chain here, dark oak fence gate here, and M-rods left and right. And there we have a lat pull down machine. Next, leave a gap of 2 to the right of this, 1, 2, and place a row of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 polished blackstone wall. Extend forwards 2, 1, 2, and then join down to the ground. Then take the central block here and extend to the right by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then extend forwards and backwards, and then join down to the ground like this. So this, I believe, would be called a cable crossover machine. We will place an anvil here and attach grindstones here and here with iron chains extending down from the grindstones. Chains here, and then dark oak fence gates either facing like this way or the opposite way. It doesn't really matter. Perfect. And then last but not least, we are making a... I don't know what to call this other than perhaps like a pec deck, but it's basically like a chest fly machine or something like that. But basically, we leave a gap of 1, 2 from this polished blackstone wall, so 1, 2, and then we place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 polished blackstone wall extending up from the ground, extend right 2, and then all the way down to the ground. Anvil here, grindstone here, iron chains here. You guys might be noticing a pattern. Dark oak stair here, dark oak trapdoor here. Then we will place a polished deep slate wall here and here with end rods underneath, just like so. So these are the 3 machines that I could comfortably make and also just fit in the gym. So next we are going to make a set of 3 weights along this back wall. So it's easiest if we kind of like work off of this path. So next to this path, we want to count and find the 1, 2, 3rd cyan terracotta and place an upside down polished blackstone stair in this position. Place 2 polished blackstone slabs extending to the left, and then next to this a solid blackstone block. And then 2 more slabs extending across the back, and then upside down polished blackstone stairs, just like this. And we want to extend each one of these blocks 1 row forwards, just like so. And then at the back here, we extend the central block up, stair here, and then slabs in between, just like so. And then we will place black concrete in these positions with end rods in between to make a set of dumbbells. We will then leave a gap of 1 from, well, this position. We'll place 2 polished blackstone wall, leave a gap of 1, 2 more, leave a gap of 1, 2 more, and I am considering moving it an additional row backwards actually. I'm not certain if that will be centered or not, but we'll leave it there for now, and then we'll place some magenta carpet on top. So we've got a set of benches as well. Then we want to leave a gap of 1 from the edge of this rack, and we will place 1, 2, 3 polished blackstone wall on top of each other, and then a set of 2 iron bars extending left of each of these, another set of polished blackstone wall, and then we will have a set of skulls here against the wall on both sides. So either on one side or both sides. I don't mind placing them on both. I'm just realizing that we might as well have placed the end rods first, and then we can attach these skulls to them after. So Yeah, I'm actually going to do that. That looks bad. I was just going to say, like, oh, maybe we could just leave it. It won't make a big difference. It makes a huge difference, actually. They look so much better this way, so we do have to do this. There we go. That's perfect. Next, we are going to make a mat in front of the free weights area. So this mat is going to be a rather large red rectangle that sits in front of our 2 racks. It overhangs the racks by 1 row and is 4 rows long in total. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're just going to dig all of this out. And I am realizing that I did indeed place those benches where I did initially for a reason, and I'm just going to have to swap these back because they will be perfectly centered in this mat. So the mat is going to be red concrete. I'm just going to make the outside of it first of all, and then I'll remove all of the blocks from the inside and replace them. Perfect. We also want to do this around the cable crossover machine. I guess you could kind of actually do it for like all of the machines if you wanted to, but I wish I just thought things through for a second when I made them. But I am just going to do it for the center part. I have a feeling that too much red will just start looking a little bit weird. I think that this is going to be just the right amount. Gravity, why must you exist? Okay, that's perfect. And as we are kind of like doing floor stuff, I'm going to place cyan terracotta underneath the exercise bikes. I don't know why I feel the need to do this, but I do. And I'm not going to do it underneath anything else. Yeah, so now we are going to remove all of the floor, which I will admit, it's a little bit annoying, ladies and gentlemen, because we've got all of the equipment, of course, and like the grindstones you can see underneath of, so we've got to be careful to like remove everything from underneath the rowing machines and everything else. But I do promise that this was the better way of doing it, I think, just because we had those weird patches of floor that were a different material. Or maybe not, maybe I've done this the silly way round. But technically speaking, we do have to remove less blocks this way. Huh? Even though gravity is going to wreak havoc once again, I'm just going to grab an anvil. And I've made it rather difficult for myself and us in a lot of these places. I really wish that I could just use a command right now. This is why I almost always like do the floor before I even move inside of the build. Okay, thank goodness. So now we can just replace all of that with grey wool. Or a different floor material of choice. I did actually throw grey concrete powder around a little bit. And clay as well, I did consider. I even used a block that I've not even used before, which was pale moss, I do believe. I kind of liked the texture of it, but I didn't go with it in the end. Like grey wool won out for some reason, but that's something that you might want to try. There is something semi-satisfying about filling this in like a jigsaw, but I will say that I'm not really enjoying myself. Okay, so, yep, nice. Doesn't that make a huge difference? That looks really good. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a little bit of a conundrum that you can hopefully help me with. I would like to have a bunch of mirrors on the walls. Typically, I would use banners. So, light blue banner, white dye in here, and we can apply a bend pattern, followed by a gradient pattern. Now, usually, I would add a border around it to make it into like a proper framed mirror, but I don't think that this is appropriate in this case. So the first mirror would be directly opposite this mat, and it would be a 3x4 row high mirror. So we would probably back this with some light blue concrete, and it would look like this. And I don't think that that looks too bad. The alternate idea is to directly behind here, because I would like another mirror here as well. The alternate idea is to use, say, just light blue concrete, and that, that would be the mirror. You got to use a bit of imagination, but, it is what it is. The third option would be something like packed ice. Now, under normal circumstances, I do believe that that would just straight up melt, right? So I'm not sure that that is the best idea. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards something like this, and then just having the mirror banners on the wall on the side, just to represent that that's what that's meant to be. I think I'll leave it with you guys. Now, to throw this off a little bit, we can in fact add a giant Planet Fitness sign that just fits one row overhanging like the left and right side. It's actually the same size as the mat, which is kind of funny, really. So we can just use our banners, which I have stole from outside, and we can just write Planet Fitness just above here, and then I think it kind of like takes the attention away from it a little bit. Now, what I also want to know is what is directly behind these blocks here, and that's just as I thought. That's unfortunate. So, on the original version of this build, where I didn't have a fancy back wall, I did have a back exit / entrance. This isn't really possible now. I think that I'm willing to forego it. And I think that I'll just keep this instead, but that's okay. There did used to be an entrance there, but that's fine. Last but not least, we do have the option to add some lighting to the ceiling. So the way that I would position this is by placing it above certain workout equipment, pretty much just focusing on the cardio area. So an end rod above the front and back end of these treadmills connected together with iron trapdoors. So one there, definitely, and then maybe one here above this set of treadmills. I think that that's perfect, and this one. And I don't want it to dangle too low. I do want to just keep it like connected to the ceiling. And then that's another, and I'm not certain that we need any more than that. I think that just two big lights, asterisks over lights, will do just nicely. I was streaming today and I was reminded that I almost forgot this very vital part. The free pizza station, available on Saturdays. So to make this, we will place a row of 1, 2, 3, 4 light grey concrete across this back wall. So you can see it just sits either side of the cyan terracotta path. We will extend the light grey concrete one row forwards. We will remove 2 rows of white concrete in this wall and replace it with magenta terracotta. Birch trapdoors here and here with item frames with pumpkin pie inside of them. And then on this corner, we're just going to have a birch slab and then birch signs surrounding most of the slab with a birch trapdoor flipped up behind, just like so. And you could even slot in another pizza here as well, and even here. As a matter of fact, why not? There's no reason not to. And there you go. And if you wanted to, you could just like write out free pizza or something like that. We could even clad this with signs if you wanted to. So we could even have like free. Well, I've messed that up. Actually, that looks pretty good. Maybe we'll even do something like this, just to kind of make it look a little bit more interesting. But yeah, the free pizza station. It was also brought to my attention that we should have a lunk alarm for these pesky gym goers that simply make too much noise, like this guy right here. And to make that, we will line up with this second mirror banner, extend up to the top of this white concrete row, remove this, the row underneath it, and then dig to the left by 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And replace all of these blocks with magenta concrete. Then we have to make a set of banners. So we just have to write out lunk alarm. So we already have L, N, and A from our pre-existing Planet Fitness banners. So we've just got to make, throw down loom, open it up, place a white banner in there with some black dye. We have to make U, so pale Dexter, pale Sinister, base. We have to make K, pale Dexter, bend, and bend Sinister. Then we have to make R. This is the pale Dexter, chief, and then bend pattern. And then lastly, I do believe we only have to make M. So this is the inverted chevron pattern. Put white dye in there, apply the chief indented pattern, black dye back in, pale Dexter, and then pale Sinister. And with these banners, which for some reason is making me laugh, lunk-arm, I don't know why, we are going to place L-U-N-K space A-L-A-R-M. And we are going to place a beacon here. And we will surround the beacon with magenta concrete, just like this. And then we are just going to make like a special button. So underneath that even more, we're going to have like a yellow concrete with a warped button. And people can hit that and sound the lunk alarm, I guess. And that'll let everybody know that this guy right here is far too noisy for our liking. And with that final detail added, ladies and gentlemen, we have officially completed this tutorial. However, this video is not over. We must now add our Planet Fitness into our city. My initial thoughts are that I would actually kind of like to see this build downtown, but I do fear that it is far too large for this area, so I don't think that I'm going to do that. Instead, this type of build would fit right in the new suburban suburbs. At a certain point, I'm going to have to stop putting this off and just renovate this whole area. So for now, we are going to stick it in storage, but this place is getting full, guys. We're going to have to do something about this really soon. Quite frankly, if it wasn't so big, it would have went downtown. You may be interested in becoming a channel member. You can click the join button that will be somewhere on the screen right now. This does cost money and is a monthly subscription, but you do get some perks. The first of which is a download link for my city design world. This has every single build that I have placed in my city, arranged in order, and labelled. This perk also comes with schematics for the mods Lightmatica and World Edit, so you can easily reference and copy and paste these builds into your worlds in any way that you'd like. However, if you're not interested in any of that building business, the highest tier allows you to download the most current version of Mini-City. There are also some minor perks, including loyalty badges displayed next to your name whenever you comment something down below on my videos. Depending on how long you have been a channel member, you gain a more prestigious helmet, with the highly coveted gold builder's hat being the most valuable. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.